Hi, my name is Anova, and I'm very excited and grateful to be talking about CYBERSCAPE, a multimedia series about the landscape of open source. I created the series with a few questions in mind, and I also was informed by data about the open source software supply chain. One study in particular really piqued my interest, which showed the connection between press and how fast enterprises were able to move to fix critical vulnerabilities in popular libraries. First, I scraped the data from the page and I then cleaned it. I now had raw data representing percentage of not vulnerable libraries and the weeks. I imported this data into processing P5.js, an open source library for creative coding. I use Creative Code to generate new designs and visualizations based on this data. I also assigned a value of color to the percentage that is not vulnerable. In my examples, I used cooler blues to represent a lower number and warmer reds and pinks to represent a higher number. In the Log4Shell example, there are plenty more red and pinks, which represent a lot higher numbers of not vulnerable because there was plenty of media and press interest into this huge library that affects people from blogging to Minecraft. On the other hand, another popular library that had less press and less media interest has more blue and cooler tones, which means that this library was vulnerable for a lot longer and there was a lot slower of a response. Keeping all of this in mind and my methodology, here is the data visualization called the diptych. I then use this data visualization to create a further series that extrapolates, manipulates, and distorts this foundational data visualization. I also want to leave a message that this data and this visualization can be highly reproducible. This code is able to generate new designs when importing any new data. I use both physical and digital techniques. I projected these onto my face and created self-portraits. I also use lens-based distortion by putting a prism over the lens. This represents how an orderly system is now in disarray. Furthermore, I created more self-portraits and also manipulated these images. I also use techniques of fashion and editorial photography to depict this information in a way that is digestible and interesting to the eye of the media. Fashion and cybersecurity are similar in the way that they are both informed by trends rather than a single event. An editorial and also a vulnerability can exist as a distribution and an ongoing season or cycle. I want this work to be viewed by anyone inside and outside of the industry, and most importantly, inspire people and create something that is accessible and data-driven, but also beautiful and interesting to mainstream media. This work challenges the notions of what cybersecurity is and who gets to participate, with everyone in mind. I hope that this shows that artists and technologists can work together. Thank you so much, and I hope that you enjoy the work.